During a month that you're working with a client, one of the things which I find is potentially one of the most effective things that you can do to strengthen a client relationship is to send them a good news story. Now, this is something which is deliberately organised, but is meant to look spontaneous when the client receives it. So I keep a little checklist of which clients I have and which good news stories that I'm going to be sending out. So it's something which is really valuable that you can do. In terms of what that good news is, that can be up to you, and this ties back to why you should be really interested in who your client is and what they do. Either it can be a specific result of something, so their traffic has jumped up, or a specific ranking has increased, or they've generated an influx in sales. Just something that is different from the normal level of results they're getting if you want to keep it result focused. Alternatively, you can have a look for something that is going on in their industry, obviously connected back to marketing, but something which they almost should be aware of. So for example, it could be that Google My Business has released a new feature which you'd be keen to try out. Alternatively, one of the things which I share quite often is just kind of other inspiration from not necessarily competitors, but how they are doing an aspect of digital marketing which I am not working on, but the client is. So to give you an example, I have a client at the moment who specialises in the production of furniture. And with the good news item that I sent across, I found a really nice example of another furniture maker who they don't compete because of what they produce, but do an absolutely amazing job on their Instagram, particularly with their Instagram stories. It doesn't take long to find out. It certainly doesn't take long in order to be able to wrap up in an email. But by being able to send that across, that shows that I'm keeping an ear out for what is going on in the industry and adds that little bit of extra value to them that they can then look at that and go, oh, that's really nice. They may hate it, but it shows that you're trying to show some willing and show some enthusiasm to what it is they do. Now, the biggest advantage that you have by working in digital marketing is that invariably the clients that you're working with are all going to be different in some way. They're either going to be in different geographical areas or they're going to be potentially in completely different industries as well. Now, one of the biggest advantages of that is that suddenly you can take findings and take learnings from one industry and apply them to another. So you do have an advantage of being able to tap into other industries which a client wouldn't necessarily even think about looking at on their own. There is so much inspiration out there, and it is something which is really valuable to share with the client. Just because you're doing a really good job with a current client doesn't mean that you can't push it a little bit more and actually offer them something which they weren't expecting. Most of digital marketing is about client expectations in what they will receive and what they won't receive. So doing these little extra things helps benefit you and helps benefit the client as well. So alongside the progress chart that you're putting together and obviously the general work that you are sending over to them, try and make a spreadsheet of the clients that you're working with and try and fill in the blanks as to what good news stories that you can share with them over the next few months. Also try and bank them so you do have a few months in advance. So if it does get to a month where you haven't got an idea about what to send across, there is already something there ready and waiting.